Hey guys, I'm David.
I'm Avinash.
And 8 months ago, Avinash didn't have a job, didn't have a girlfriend, didn't really have much hair on the top of his head. And because of those things, he lost a lot of confidence. 8 months later, he's never had a hair transplant, but he's starting to get back a ton of hair. Wow. Has a beautiful girlfriend sitting right over there, has a new job, and he's here with us about to go get a hair transplant. And his life, well, just a minute ago, he said it seems like a miracle to him. And so today we're going to share this miracle with you. Start from the beginning of the story. Where did it kind of start for you?
So I had gradual hair loss over the years. I didn't really pay attention to it. Never thought too much about it. But in 2015, everything kind of started falling apart. Too much stress going on in my life. My ex had filed for divorce. Didn't know what was wrong. Couldn't understand anything. That triggered even made the hair loss worse. I had a great job. I was executive director. So, money-wise, everything was good, but the stress was just too much. My hair loss, I completely became bald on top of my head. And so I lost a lot of confidence. I'm no support in my life, just by myself over here. I used to give presentations. I've given presentations over the, national presentation as well as international presentations. And my work was, I could see that my hair loss was impacting not people around me, but just me.
The way you felt giving the presentations.
Giving presentations. I was the same person, but I felt different.
Yep.
And so that impacted everything around me. I was always a very proactive guy, very energetic, and this was impacting me too much. So I decided I was going to take action. And what I did for that was I researched like everybody else. I Googled, I researched what are the options. And believe it or not, guys, my family side, my cousins are in the hair industry. So my cousin, who actually does hair for Bollywood actors in India, suggested that brother, you could look into some other options. There are reasonable options like film industry uses too. They have this patch they put on your head, and you kind of get it washed, once a month. And
it's like a hair system.
Hair system. Mm-hmm. So I said, because I didn't have a job, I said I was going to look into that. But also I was looking at more permanent solutions like a hair transplant. So I researched the hair systems. And I found that there was, different varieties. And I even went to 2 or 3 salons where they would do the hair system for me, to the point that I picked out a hair system. Wow. I was ready to go with that. But that would mean that I would have to shave this portion every time and then put the hair system on. I, researched the videos of how to put it on by myself because I wanted to save that money. But then I got a person who was going to do it for me at a certain price. I said, but before I jump into that, I said, let me look into hair transplant. So I made an appointment on the same day for 3 doctors, 3 hair transplant doctors. I went to each one of them, and all of them were like ready to do the surgery too. One doctor, one office actually, one office suggested a hair system versus doing the hair transplant, because I was very I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So there's if you don't want to spend money on a hair transplant, how about you go with a hair system and it looks great. I said I knew about it, so I said, okay, let me put that in my back pocket. I'm not going to make a decision right now.
Yeah.
Then I went to another doctor, and they were like ready to do the surgery. They're like, okay, they took a Sharpie. They drew on the head, like, here's what you're going to do, here's what we're going to do. I said, okay, that's good. And I didn't even know that my Sharpie was still on my head. And I walked out of that office and I said, okay, sure, I'm going to, go and get this done. But they said, next week, okay? I said, let me think about it. I'll come back.
You went to the first one. They said, we'd probably suggest a hair system.
Yep.
We would do surgery on you, but we'd probably suggest a hair system over that because it's going to be very expensive, the surgery. Yeah. The second one, they just said, yep, we're totally ready to do the hair transplant on you. Just next week, let's book an appointment and get you in here.
Yep.
And then Dr. McGrath was the third surgeon that you went to and visit. Okay, cool. And you drove over here, and how did that go?
Walking in, Like I'd been to 2 other doctors. My perception was, okay, another, we're gonna go, like, okay, this is the cost. And I said, but at least, I have 3 prices. I've been very competitive. Like, I've been in government for a long time, so we need 3 beds. I stuck in my head.
Appreciate the Indians. They're always looking for a good
deal, right? So and plus I didn't have a job, so I didn't have the money to spend on the $10,000, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, but I needed help. And I couldn't have really, like, I knew that at that point, like, my hair was pretty bad. I'd lost a lot of hair.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen those pictures. Like, you basically have no hair on the top of your head.
No hair.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
So, when I walked in, I met with Dr. McGrath, and Dr. McGrath said, "Oh, looks like she saw the Sharpie marks, and he's like, looks like you're ready to have a surgery." I said,
"Oh, because you still had the Sharpie marks that day." That's funny.
So he said, I said, "Yeah, that's how serious I am. If you're going to do it, I can do it right now." So, but he said, "How about we go to Steve?" And Steve was in the he said, "Come over, we'll talk about it maybe." Because I told
this is Dr. McGrath's consultant, Steve Cook. Yeah.
So Dr. McGrath said that, because first thing I said, I was asking about the deal, like, hey, there I got 2 prices.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want a 3rd price, and can you do it cheap kind of deal?
Yeah.
But then what?
So, like, already negotiating the price of the tires.
Before he can even tell me, like, what he's gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought I knew, because this was in September, but 2 years before that, when I was in Florida, I had also looked into hair transplant. And back then, also the price of the graft, I'd looked at it from a Florida transplant surgeon, and also I had looked at the prices in India. Mm-hmm. So if I'd fly to India and get it done. So I was like, but that's too expensive.
So you knew the prices, like, all the price per graft, everything like that.
Everything.
Yeah.
I had the numbers down, because I'm an engineer and an MBA. So, this is my deal, right?
Yeah.
Look at numbers and look at cost.
I feel like this is, one of the things that I've talked about a lot on this channel, that's one of the most difficult things to get across to potential patients that are losing their hair, is a lot of people are very smart like that, and they think, hey, listen, the hair doesn't fall in the back of your head. I get the numbers done. I pay this price per graft. As long as I get a low price and I get somebody who's like halfway decent, everything's good. I'm done. That's the end of the story, And as we're about to get into, there's often a lot more to the story in getting the correct consultation done. That is literally the game changer. No matter, you can go to the best surgeon in the entire world, pay the most money, and if you don't have the right plan of of how to prepare in advance for it, of what to do afterwards in order to keep your hair in both the transplant and non-transplant, all that stuff, if the plan is not right, it can all go down the toilet.
And you're so right, David, because when I was doing the research, I had seen videos of people who said, this is what my hair looked before, and this is how it was done, but it looked bad. Like, they themselves were saying, hey, I did this, but it wasn't really done well.
Yeah.
And so when I went, from Dr. McGrath, we went to talk to Steve's in his office, Steve Cook's office, and this is where my life really changed. Because Steve and Dr. McGrath, they said, okay, we understand what your situation is. We can really take your money and do the surgery now, okay? But my option is that you go on this medicine plan for it costs, and he told me the price and everything. And I said, well, medicine instead of a hair transplant. But before he could really tell me all about it, he showed me a couple pictures. Mm-hmm. And the pictures were like very impressive. And I said, well, if that could happen in like 3 to 6 months, I could live with that. I could live with that hair all my life. That's how it was. So I was ready for that, even I was going to be satisfied with that level of hair growth. Mm-hmm. That's how bad my confidence was. Like,
so it was like, man, if I could get anything growing on the top of my head, I just want to just not look completely bald.
That is exactly, because it was affecting my confidence than anything. Nobody else cared. I could go full bald and nobody would say, oh, you look great. But myself was a different story.
Yeah.
So then Steve said, and Dr. McGrath said, you go with this plan and we'll try it out for 3 months, 6 months, and we'll revisit. I said, sounds great. So and my financial situations were pretty bad because I just had got the divorce done, so my child support was kicking in, and I had lost my job. So now it's like a double whammy all way around. Financial hardship, no job, child support, everything. And then I'm here sitting in their office and told my situation, and they were like, we understand, and we're not gonna, like, they were willing to work with me. I like felt so that was the human side of the whole consultation, that when you're so down and you don't know what, and then somebody just doing a business with you,
Yeah.
like, hey, give me money and here's the product,
Yeah.
versus don't worry, we are there with you. And so he said, okay, by the way, the fee is so much, and he even understood that my situation. He said, how about you remind me 6 months later, give me half of the fee, and 6 months later come to me, and then, or when you come to me next time, you pay it at that time, but I'm not going to remind you. You
Yeah.
remind me. And to me that was like, I've never heard this before. This is like a really human side of things, when somebody is down, helping them out. So that's what then, Steve and Dr. McGrath gave me the prescription. It came to me, like, I didn't even have to refill. It would come refill
Yeah.
automatically. And in a month, I talk to my parents, like my mom in India, or video every time, like every day. And in a few months, you're like, you're getting some hair. Like, really? Like, yeah. So it was so impressive. And
Wow.
then my brother, I mean, a lot of like people my age, especially they lose hair, and it's never been that they were around where they start gaining hair, right? It's like always losing hair. So everybody at home was super happy. I was getting hair. My daughter, she was impressed, like, Dad, you're getting hair. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting hair. So that was a big game changer. So I went to to McGrath's, Dr. McGrath's office, second time, and I reminded him. I said, I owe you the other $100. He said, thanks for being honest. And
Wow.
he really waived that too. So I was, but I said, because this is without you guys doing the surgery.
Yeah.
Okay? This is like, you just gave me a miracle pill.
Yeah.
And this is what happened.
So this is the combination finasteride, minoxidil, biotin,
Right.
oral pill. Yeah. So I'm actually taking that now as well. I got on that, man, how long ago? Maybe, I don't know, 5-6 months ago, something like that myself. I got on it because my brothers, they were both losing their hair as well, my younger brothers.
Yeah.
And they both got on it. Steve suggested it to them. And man, like one of them, it looks like he's never lost any hair now.
Yeah.
All of it came back.
Right.
And then one of them, I mean, he still got some hair loss. He was a lot further gone, but it's almost not noticeable. It's like it's completely changed. And so I was like, man, that's really impressive. So I had been on finasteride years ago, and I was like, that's just so impressive. Like, I never had any negative side effects from finasteride. So I was like, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot by not being on this pill. So I went ahead and got on it as well. So now I use that and the laser helmet. And I mean, between those, my hair, I feel like, is looking better than ever. So
It looks great.
oh, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so you're on the pill. You're starting to get like all your hair back, and I think one of the things I've noticed with this too is you've kind of mentioned. I mean, your hair, like, it's still not like John Travolta when he's 19, but like there's a big difference in the way that you feel when you see progression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sometimes like there's this guy Adam who got his exosomes done, and like he's actually even got much less hair than you, but he was, again, also completely bald, like zero hair in his hair. And so Adam, like, seeing new hairs come up, there's a completely different feeling. It's like I'm reversing this. I've got control of something. I'm making a positive change. It's like going, maybe the same as like if you're really overweight and you go to the gym. If you lost 10 pounds, well, you still don't look like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but now you're going the other direction. Wow. Now, you know what I mean? There's a big difference in your confidence.
And it's so coincident you mentioned gym. So back when I had hair and everything, life was like a, rosy picture. I used to do marathons. I had done like 7 marathons. I'd done a marathon in Europe.
Wow.
And I actually have there's a YouTube video of me in the marathon. Luckily, they shot me in. So, and did a Ironman, half Ironman.
Wow.
I was so like energetic, like full of energy, and this happened, and I like it felt like I was like 20 years older all of a sudden just because of my my confidence level.
Yeah.
At work, I would go and people would say, you act like you're like 70-year-old. You're not that old. Why do you no, my this hurts, my that hurts, and I used to be a regular runner, like 6 miles a day was my thing.
Wow.
And now I couldn't walk because of everything. Like my muscles get tight. Everything was just looking bad. I ran into plantar fasciitis, which is my foot was hurting. Even after like a year and a half, I was not able to recover from it because of just the low energy and not having that confidence. So,
Wow.
so now okay.
It's starting to come back a little bit, and
Yeah.
you feel like a lot of that is kind of that confidence from hair and seeing. It is crazy. I know it's we'll see a lot of comments. I'm sure you see
Yeah.
them on the internet. That's like, oh, just shave your head, just go bald, toughen up. There's something about having hair and having some kind of control of that that really does make you feel more powerful, I think.
Oh, definitely. Especially, it's a gradual process. It's not. It doesn't happen in a day. And you see that you're like I see over here. I get the hair, and I see the hair growth on the sides, and over here, and I feel like it feels different. It's just that hairline. Now I wanted to go to the next level. I said, I know Dr. McGrath had given me like 3 options: the helmet, the pill, and then the surgery. So I went to Steve, and Steve looked at it, and he said, I said, Steve, first of all, when I walked in, and he recognized me, but he like, that's impressive. Why?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's all you guys.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
did this. I said, I didn't do anything. I just took that pill. And he's like, wow. He was so impressed that he called me, Dr. McGrath, like, come, you have to see this. You have to come and see it. And then we sat and we took some pictures. And he was like, I said, Steve, I believe in you guys. Like, I believe in you and Dr. McGrath because I would never recommend, in my life, I had really bad experience with like doctors. So I never recommend any doctor to anybody ever. I've never done it. But I said, Dr. McGrath, I would definitely recommend because I've seen the results. It's like I've seen my life change because of that.
That's awesome.
More positive energy in me, more confidence in me, that made everything around me seem better, right? It's because how I felt, not like everything could still be the same because nothing really changes. The world is going to run like the world's running, but it was just my perception of the world changed. And so then, Steve suggested, and Dr. McGrath and both, they said, okay, we could do incremental and we could go with the, the helmet. But if you want really transformation, like knowing like how much you have got now, we recommend you go for the hair transplant. I was like, I'm ready for it. Let's do it. And I wanted to make that big change because I was ready for that change 8 months ago. Yeah. Because that's when they had drawn the Sharpie on my head, right?
So and here's the thing is that I'm sure that you know this now, but because at the point that you were at previously, your donor hair also was this part here was so much weaker. And so if you'd gotten a hair transplant then it just would have turned out really badly. Because you would have been taking weaker hair, transplanting it into a scalp where you had almost no hair, and it would have even if you got like a great amazing surgeon, the world's top surgeon, to do your hair transplant, it still would never really be that great, and so now
I can turn around and show you. I mean, this is like
now you have this really strong strong hair.
It's like I feel like I've let it grow because of the the situation we're in now.
Pandemic,
like nobody can go to the hair salon, but it feels great. It feels so good. The hair is stronger.
Yeah.
I can run my fingers, and at the back feels like I got a lot of good hair. And that's what Dr. McGrath did. He looked at it and he said, you have good donor hair now, and we could use that. And and that's what I think the medicine did, was not only regrew hair over here, which is impressive, but prepped for the donor hair to be stronger
Yep.
and more, so I could use they could use that to then do the transplant. And that's what Steve said too. Steve Kirk said that we're here to make a difference in people's life, and when he said that, I believe I could see the genuineness in those words. It wasn't about just hey, I want to this is a business. And ironically enough, lawyers and doctors, it's like they benefit when you are down. It's like so there is like if somebody's ill, that's when the doctor makes money, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird system, but guess what? That's how it works. But you'll find doctors out there that go in that profession to help people, and I feel that Dr. McGrath is one of those guys that is out, is really trying to genuinely help people.
All right, well, stay tuned. We're going to take Avinash and start preparing for his hair transplant. And then also, of course, we're going to show you his after results. So we'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Avinash.
Thank you. Thanks, David.